everyone. Welcome to the English Leap podcast. If you want to get better at English while having fun, you are in the right place. I am Emma, your host, and with me is my co-host, Jack.
Hey everyone, we are so happy you joined us today. Our goal is to help you learn English through fun talks and easy conversations. And today's topic is really exciting, building wealth.
Yes, building wealth is something we all think about. Whether you want to save for later, invest, or just understand money better, it is an important topic. We will share tips and ideas and keep it simple so you can practice your English.
Exactly, and the best part is, by the end of today's show, you won't even realize you learned new money words. Learning while having fun is what we love to do.
Definitely. So let's start today's topic. Jack, let me ask you, when did you first think about saving and building wealth? Was there a time when you realized, I need to do something with my money?
Oh, for sure. It was right after college. I got my first job and finally had my own money coming in. But after a few months, I realized I wasn't saving anything. I was spending money on things I didn't really need. It hit me when I looked at my bank account and thought, oops, I should be smarter with my money.
That is a story many people can understand. I think many people have a moment when they realize they need to save for the future. For me, it was when I wanted to buy my first car. I didn't have enough money saved, so I had to make a plan to start building my wealth.
Exactly. Building wealth isn't just for super rich people. It is something we can all do, bit by bit. Today, we will share ideas that can help anyone start building wealth, no matter where they are in life. Oh, and before we go on, don't forget about the PDF for today's episode. Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week.
It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place.
Right, so let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today. It has all the words, phrases, and extra tips we talk about today. Just click the link in the description to download it. And later, our friend Charlotte, the word expert, will join us to explain some key words we use today. She will make sure you understand all the important terms about building wealth.
That's right. Charlotte will explain everything in a simple way, so stay tuned for that. So Emma, let's start by talking about what wealth really means. A lot of people think it's just about how much money you make, right? But wealth is much more than just your paycheck.
Exactly, Jack. A lot of people mix up income with wealth. You can make a lot of money and still not be wealthy if you spend it all. Wealth is really about what you save, invest, and build over time. It is about collecting things like stocks, bonds, and houses, things that can grow in value for your future.
Right. Wealth is about the big picture and being healthy with money for a long time. It is about what you keep after you pay for everything and how you make it grow. When I started my first job, I made good money, but I wasn't saving anything. At the time, I thought having a good paycheck meant I was doing fine, but I didn't realize that without saving and investing, I wasn't actually building wealth. I totally understand that. When I got my first job, I felt the same way. I was spending my whole paycheck on things I didn't need just because I had the money. But one day, I looked at my bank account and had nothing left. It was a wake-up call for me. That is when I realized being rich isn't about earning a lot. It's about being smart and making your money grow. And that is why money goals are important, right? If you don't have a plan, it's very easy to spend money without thinking about tomorrow. I remember when I set my first money goal. Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week. It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday? Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place. Right. So let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today. It was to save for a car.
I had to think about how much I needed, how much I could save each month, and how long it would take. It gave me something to work toward.
Exactly. Money goals give you a direction. Whether it's saving for a car, a trip, or even a house, having clear goals helps you stay focused. When I was paying back my student loans, I set small goals. I broke it down into small parts, like paying off one loan at a time. It made it feel easier and kept me excited to keep going.
I like how you said breaking it down. Sometimes big goals feel too hard to reach, but if you break them into small goals, it feels less stressful, like building an emergency fund. Instead of trying to save a huge amount, start small with $500 and go from there.
That's a great point, Jack. It's like building wealth brick by brick. And once you have your goals, one of the best ways to grow wealth is by investing. Saving is important, but investing is how your money starts working for you. There are many ways to invest: stocks, bonds, or real estate. I started with mutual funds because they felt safer, but later I felt better about buying stocks.
Yes, investing is the key. I was nervous about it at first because I didn't know much, but I started small with my retirement account and then learned about other ways to invest. It is amazing how your money grows over time, even with small, regular payments.
Exactly. And speaking of being regular, one thing that can ruin building wealth is debt. I have seen many people struggle with credit card debt. It is easy to get into, but hard to get out of if you are not careful. Using credit cards wisely is very important.
For sure. I learned that lesson the hard way. When I got my first credit card, I didn't think about the extra interest costs. I was just using it for everything.
Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week. It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind, okay? But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place.
Right. So let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today.
But then the bill kept growing and I was only paying a little bit each month. The interest grew so fast that it took me years to pay it off. Now I only use credit when I know I can pay the whole bill at the end of the month. That is a great habit. Credit cards can be helpful for your credit score, but only if you use them carefully. Paying them off every month and avoiding high interest helps you stay on track with your goals.
Speaking of staying on track, that reminds me of another tip: automating your savings. When I first started saving, I would often forget or want to spend the money. But when I set up my bank to move money to my savings account automatically, it became easy. I didn't have to think about it, and my wealth grew in the background.
Automation is such a good idea. I do the same thing and it makes a big difference. You don't even miss the money because it leaves your account right away. Plus, it keeps you regular with your saving goals.
So Emma, we talked about credit and investing, but there is another simple rule that helps: living below your means. It sounds easy, but it is not always simple, right?
Definitely. Living below your means is the base of building wealth. It just means spending less than you earn. The problem is that today, with online shopping, it is so easy to spend too much without noticing. I remember when I got my first raise, I thought I could buy new clothes and a nicer car. But after a while, I realized I was just spending more instead of saving more.
I have been there too.
It is tempting to buy more things when you make more money. But that is called lifestyle inflation, where your spending grows as fast as your income. That is why living below your means is powerful. If you earn more but keep your spending low, you can invest the difference. That is how wealth grows.
Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week. It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday? Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place. Right. So let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today.
Exactly. It's not about living like you are poor. It's about being smart. For example, instead of buying a new car often, I kept my old reliable car and invested that money instead. Over time, that money really adds up.
That's a great point, Emma. Another thing that helps is having multiple streams of income. You don't want to rely on just one paycheck. I started a small online business as a side job, and it has been a great way to make extra money. It also feels good knowing I am not putting all my hopes into just one job.
Oh, absolutely. Relying on only one job is risky. If something happens to your job, you are in trouble. But if you have more than one way to make money, you have a safety net. I know people who rent out houses, invest in stocks, or do extra work. I started doing extra consulting on weekends, and that cash helped me pay off my debt faster.
That's awesome. Having more than one way to make money gives you more safety and builds wealth faster. Plus, with technology, starting a side job is easier than ever. Whether you sell things online or do freelance work, there are many chances to earn.
Exactly. And once you see the benefits of extra income, it makes you want to grow even more. It really links to the mindset you need to build wealth, right?
Your mindset is very important. I always say building wealth is about how you think, not just numbers. If you believe you can grow your money and stick to your plan, you will likely succeed. But if you always think, "I'll never have enough," you are stopping yourself.
So true. Your thoughts can help you or hurt you. I used to think wealth was only for rich people. I thought I couldn't do it. But once I started learning and setting small goals, I realized anyone can build wealth. It just takes time and good habits. Yes, having a growth mindset is key. Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week. It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday? Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place. Right. So let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today.
It is about believing you can improve your money situation, even if it feels slow at first. You have to be patient and keep going even when it feels like nothing is happening. Building wealth is like a long race, not a short, fast one.
Exactly. And another part of the right mindset is not being afraid to take risks. Investing or starting a business involves risk. But if you don't take smart risks, it is hard to grow your wealth. The key is to learn, start small, and make smart choices.
I totally agree, Emma. And mistakes are part of the journey too. Sometimes you will lose money or make a bad choice, and that is okay. The important thing is to learn from it and keep moving. That is how you build a strong money foundation over time.
Now, before we finish, let's bring in Charlotte for the word breakdown.
That's right. Charlotte will explain the key words we use today.
Thanks, Emma and Jack. Hi again, everyone. Let's look at some key words from today to help you improve your English. Wealth. This means the total value of all the money and things someone owns. Example, wealth isn't just about your paycheck, but what you save. Assets. Things that have value, like stocks or houses, that can grow in price. Example, buying a house is an asset that can help build wealth. Financial goals. Plans for your money, like saving for a house or paying off debt. Example, setting money goals gave me a clear path to follow. Credit score. A number that shows if you are good at paying back borrowed money. Example, a high credit score helps you get better deals on loans. Mutual funds. A way for many people to put their money together to invest in many things at once. Example, I started with mutual funds because they felt safer.
Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week.
It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place.
Right. So let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today.
Charlotte, real estate, land, or buildings often bought to make money over a long time. Charlotte example, buying real estate is a good way to own things that grow in value. Charlotte, lifestyle inflation, when someone spends more money just because they are earning more. Charlotte example, lifestyle inflation can stop you from saving, even with a good job. Charlotte, multiple streams of income, making money from more than one place, like a job and a side business. Charlotte example, having extra ways to make money adds safety. Charlotte, passive income, money you earn with very little work after you set it up, like rent. Charlotte example, passive income from investments helped me pay my bills. Automating savings, setting your bank to move money to savings automatically so you don't have to do it. Charlotte example, automating my savings made it easy to reach my goals. Emergency fund, money saved only for unexpected things, like a broken car. Charlotte example, I am saving an emergency fund to cover 3 months of costs. Growth mindset, believing that you can get better and learn new things over time with time. Charlotte example, a growth mindset is key to building wealth for a long time. Calculated risks, risks that you think about carefully before taking them. Charlotte example, investing is a calculated risk that can pay off if you were smart. Wake-up call, something that happens that makes you realize you need to change. Charlotte example, having no money left was a wake-up call for me to start saving. Put all your eggs in one basket, relying on only one thing, which is dangerous if it fails. Charlotte example, don't put all your eggs in one basket by having only one job. Brick by brick, building something slowly and carefully over time. Charlotte example, building wealth is done brick by brick with small savings.
Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week.
It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place.
Right. So let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today.
Charlotte, in the background, something that happens without you needing to watch it. Example, my savings grew in the background because of automatic transfers. Snowball effect, when something starts small but grows bigger and faster over time. Snowball effect, when something starts small but grows bigger and faster over time. Example, saving money works like a snowball. The longer you do it, the more it grows. Derail, to make something go off track or fail. Example, too much debt can derail your plans to be wealthy. On track, moving in the right direction toward a goal. Example, paying my bills on time keeps me on track with my goals. That is all the key words for today. I hope this helps you. Thank you so much, Charlotte. That was very helpful.
Yes, we really appreciate it. Learning more words is a big part of getting better at English. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Don't forget to download the PDF for today's show. It have all the words and practice exercises we talked about. We hope you like the show. Please leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe for more. We want to hear from you and what you want to learn next. Thanks for listening, everyone. We will see you next time. Keep practicing, stay positive, and remember, building wealth takes time, but every step you take brings you closer to your goals. Your learning doesn't end here. To keep getting better at English, click on the next video or look at the other videos we chose for you. Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week.
It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place.
Right. So let's get right into it, because we have a lot to unpack today.